According to Mark Sheldon of MLB, Mark Sheldon asked Nick Krall about David Bell's contract, and here's what he said. He's got a contract for next year, what Krall said when asked about Bell before Friday's game. As of right now, we're going to evaluate everything at the end of the year and see what we have to do to move forward. That is just nothing.
It is quite nothing, but I do like that he didn't say anything positive in a way where it's just like, not necessarily like, oh, everything's fine over here. I like that they're being like, no, we're going to evaluate everyone regardless of contract because this year was a failure. That's what that language says to me.
Yes.
So I like it. It is a nothing burger, but I think it's I can munch on this nothing burger.
Yeah, dude, I could eat this. I'll take a couple bites. He's being very direct. And he was pretty direct here. Krall said, we've had some guys that have taken steps forward, and we've had some guys who have taken some steps backwards. Part of it is youth. Part of it is where we have to figure out how to get better. It's on all of us. Obviously, I'm not happy with where we are record-wise. It's something that we just have to continue to grind and keep moving forward.
I like that.
That means not pleased. This has been a bad year. No one is safe.
I like that's how they're categorizing this year because when you look back and just say like, hey, we did well. You just try to find like too many positive things where this then just lowers what the expectations become. So you're just gradually lowering your ceiling. Yeah. So I do like that right away, even before the season's done with, he's like, we need to evaluate what went wrong.
Yeah. And you know what? Let's start with what went right this year. The starting pitching and the bullpen went right this year. Mm-hmm. There were some definite weak spots, Justin Wilson. But overall, man, the bullpen did its job. The starting pitching did its job. So you have to take a look at where those buckets are, which is Derek Johnson is very good at his job.
Yeah, and this was coming off a lot of, minus Frankie Muntas, it's been all youth.
Yes.
That starting rotation is young guys.
A lot of them young, out of college dudes who have some experience working within like kind of a major league program where a lot of these like schools have high tech and stuff, especially Rhett Lauder out of Wake Forest, where good Lord, their pitching lab bananas. Virginia has a good pitching lab, like all that stuff. So those guys come over and they're used to it. And DJ being a wizard at Vanderbilt, plug, play, keep moving forward. And with and they have figured something out with dudes that they evaluate going to the bullpen, that there's something that they have, and they look and they go, do they have it? Plug them right in, even if it's someone who's been DFA'd, someone they're trying to get for inexpensive, i.e. like Brent Suter, Emilio Pagan. Mm-hmm. Derek Johnson's done a very good job with that. You want to keep him on board. Tyler Stevenson's taken a huge step forward this year defensively. Huge. Massive step forward this year. His framing's improved. His blocking's improved. So you go, all right, whatever's going on there with J.R. House and running the catching department, that's been a success. What hasn't been a success is defensively. They're in the bottom third in the league in runs saved. They're the bottom third in the league on being caught on base. And offensively, below average.
So those are definitely the bigger things to take care of.
Oh, 100%. So which is your bucket of hitting, going all the way from rookie to the bigs. What that program looks like, it's not working.
Yeah, figure out what is working well for pitching. I know you can't necessarily translate all of it, but what do we have going on here? Why are we successful here, but seemingly lacking sufficiently to keep up with standards offensively?
Sure.
So, and then, of course, not to mention the health and seeing what's going on in our health department. Why do we seemingly have all these guys on the IL for longer than what is anticipated?
Yeah, and just terrible communication going on. And is that something where you have to evaluate and you go, is that David Bell, considering his history that he had with the Giants, and that he's like, oh yeah, I was working with the health department with the Giants and evaluating injuries along with the medical team. So is that something where he's overstepping his boundaries? Do we know if that's a real thing? Like, is that where he's a part of the problem?
Potentially,
and a mindset. Like, this team was awful in one-run games. This team was just run differential only kept you up so much because they kept losing 1-0, 1-2, 2-3.
And you don't want to see that to have that culture seep back in of accepting like, oh, okay, well, we're a small market team, supposedly, so we aren't expected to win these games. But last year, they put it on their shoulders of just be like, no, we are more than competitive. We are the team to beat. And just seemingly it was, you could look at it as just like the mantra of like accepting failure or having the accountability to win.
Sure. And it makes you question what Trevor Bauer tweeted out a couple months ago, talking about the Reds and saying, like, I love pitching there, love pitching with DJ, all this stuff, but there were some veterans who were there that were accepting of mediocrity, accepting of being who they were instead of trying to be the best version of themselves. And then Joey Votto retired the next day. So I don't know if he was talking about him, but kind of wild. But it was just like, if you heard that coming back from him in 2020, I'm not saying trust Trevor Bauer, fuck that guy. But what I am saying is this a mindset kind of thing where he's talking about David Bell?
Yeah, we're saying is Trevor Bauer is a loose enough cannon to where he's going to spill the beans. So his shenanigans aside, that kind of peeled back the curtain a little bit. So, I don't know if he was talking about Votto or not, or if he was just talking about, some other people in the managerial side of things.
Yeah.
So it is something where I don't necessarily like seeing a manager continually just be like, well, we got to do a little better. We got to do this. So I don't know. It could be stemming down from that. No. So like Krall said, everyone's being evaluated.
Everyone's being evaluated. Maybe they should get that tech we talked about. Mm-hmm. Maybe. Fork it up.